All right. So let me just start by saying that college can be scary, especially your first year. It can be a bit overwhelming, not necessarily scary. It is a lot of stuff that you have to start taking care of on your own, from managing your school schedule to just paying bills, whether that be your school bills or if you actually move out, your actual bills. It is a lot to handle your first year. And because it is a lot, you might just forget a couple things here and there. So this video is just to give you an umbrella or a blanket idea of what you need to know, what you need to look for, what you need to cover on your first year, just so you know how to get around. So the first and most important thing is knowing yourself. Um, are you a morning person? Do you like to wake up in the morning? Would you be okay with having classes early in the morning, like 8 in the morning? Or are you more of a late start person, right? Or would you like taking classes at night? So would you be willing to take classes from 5 to 8? That's something you have to ask yourself. What are your interests? Like, are you thinking of joining any clubs or interests just for your major? What are you going to major? What are you going to minor in? Your note taking. Taking notes is super important at the college level. It is just really, really important. So you have to find a method of note taking that works for you, whether that be taking it on the computer, typing it, writing it on your tablet, recording it, or just pen and paper, using different colors for that. It is all up to you, and that is up to you. And all this is important, especially whether you are a morning person or not, for your schedule. As you start to build your own schedule, it's just important to know what works for you so you are not late to class, you're not missing classes. It's just important to get used to the habit that you will be taking care of all this on your own. And your note taking is up to you. If you take bad notes, that will reflect on your grades, stuff like that. Um, and as for your interest, you can also just elaborate that on into what clubs you want to go to, whether that be the LSU or BSU. So those are very culture-oriented clubs. And so going on to that, what I was talking about for the LSU, the Latino Student Alliance, and the BSU, the Black Student Alliance, those are like part of the Cultural Inclusion Council at CMU. This video will focus a lot on CMU just because that is what I have the most experience for. But those big ideas about looking for clubs or your interest, those are big blanket statements that you can actually take and apply them to whatever school you go to. It's just that you will be in charge of doing most of that research. As for CMU, if you have any questions about financial aid, housing, anything like that, you go to IRIS, right? And that is just like the big organization that they have created, which is a collection of all the resources they have at CMU. And they can point you to a better resource or help you right there. Um, Two big resources that I want to talk about are the TLC, which are the Tutorial Learning Services at CMU or Center at CMU. And so this is just a great place if you need help with some of your college classes. These are students that have aced those classes and are good enough to tutor you. So they are most definitely qualified to tutor you, and they will most likely explain it in a way you understand it, just because that is the way they understood it. If you are um, if you qualify for Pell Grant, or if you are a first generation college student, if your grades aren't good, if you're struggling, then you should apply to TRIO. And this is a great program that helps you just get around college, and they are specific to a small group of students. Once you get into TRIO, they have their own like tutoring learning center, they have their own resources, they can help you, they have their own scholarships that you can apply for. And another big resource that you should not ignore at any university, especially at CMU, is your library, right? So at CMU, it's the Tomlinson Library, and this library has anything from IT support to research help. And that is just big when you are trying to write a research paper, you don't even know where to start, go to the library. They will be able to help you with that, no problem. If you can't connect to the Wi-Fi, or if you're having troubles with any of your technology, go to the IT support in the library. They can help you with that. And as for a student, always check your map zone. This is like the biggest center for you, is just your student hub for all these other applications, for clubs, for renting rooms at the library, for anything, is your map zone. This is a very important thing to get around, right? So you have to be very familiar with your map zone, as that is where you will access D2L, which is your student portal for your classes. Then we have financial aid. right? So the biggest thing is you have to accept the aid that you are given, right? If you don't accept it, it will not be applied or redirected to your account, and you will end up having to pay for your college without any of the financial aid. So you have to accept any aid you are given and decline it as well. So if you are given a loan, you can decline it, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you're given a scholarship, make sure to accept it. Like, you just have to know what to do with that. Also look for holds on your account, and these are things that will prevent you from getting your financial aid. And in order to look at your holds, when you look at your MavZone, when you log into your MavZone, you will get this like whole sidebar right here, right? You're gonna get this whole thing right here. And so in order to look for holds on your accounts, you go to My Tasks, and this will have a list of things you need to do in order to be ready to start off this semester. These are just other things that you can look for, right? So your dashboard, different applications, campus updates, settings on your account. So if you want to know your 700 number, you go to My Account, stuff like that. If you did get cough, make sure that cough is going to your account. So make sure that you approved it for it to be redirected to your account. That way it is applied to your account and you can get that money. I know that for another video, I spoke about a general application that CMU has for their students. And if you are in your MavZone and you go to applications, one of the applications that you see is this scholarship application, right? And so you click on there and it will take you to the scholarship application that you will fill out, give you a list of all the different scholarships that you are applying for, different things you have to do to apply to different scholarships. So it's just a big hub of financial aid that you can get to from your MavZone. So the MavZone is the center of information for a student. Next, we have ePay. Again, if we do applications, your ePay is one of these apps, right? So this is what it looks like. So you click on this, and this is pretty much your billing portal for all things CMU. So when it comes time to pay for college, this is where you will go. You can set up payment plans for this if you want to do monthly payments instead of paying for it all at once. You have to make sure to do this beforehand and stay on top of this so you can avoid all these late fees that they charge you, because that will just bring your price up a lot more. If you are the one that's not, if someone else is going to be paying for your college, so let's say your parents, and you're over the age of 18, you have to give access to others, right? So you have to go into ePay and give access to other people, other adults, in order for them to view your statements and view all this stuff and make payments in your name. This is also where you will look at your statements for anything you still need to pay for, and where you will see the final price tag, right? So if you go in a bit earlier, let's say like late July, financial aid still has not been applied to that price tag. So don't freak out if it's very big. Wait till around, I think this year or this upcoming fall semester, I believe it's like the 13th that CMU will apply financial aid to your student account. And that is when you will see the price drop and when you can set up for payment plans and stuff like that. So moving on from there, let's go into housing. Another one of the little applications or apps that you can see in your MavZone is the My Housing. And this is where you will apply for housing or even apply or request exemption. And exemption is if you are staying with your parents, you need to request this to let CMU know that you are not staying at the campus. Because if you are a freshman or sophomore, and you do not request this exemption, they will place you in a dorm, and then you have to end up paying for it. And that is just money you are not looking to spend if you don't want to. So make sure you request this exemption. It is super important that you do this. Another thing is this is where you will select your meal plans or keep them updated, where you will select your rooms, your dorms, all that, and apply for everything, right? So this is like the center hub for all your things about housing, right? So if you need to know anything about your housing situation, this is the place to go. Right, and so then next, let's cover textbooks. The dready, big things, expensive things that we do not even want to open, but trust me, in college, it is very important you read your textbook. It is just a big source of information, and a lot of college classes are actually designed for you to be going along with the textbook and the teacher at the same time, not to rely solely on class time. Because you are only in class for an hour a day, maybe if it's a 3 credit hour class, you're in there for 3 hours throughout the whole week. That is it. And so then the rest is up to you to learn the rest of the material. Right. So my biggest recommendation for textbooks is to look around, right? You can either do textbook brokers. There's one on 12th Street. The Maverick store, that's the center, that's the CMU's bookstore. Or you can even do Amazon Prime. I know that Amazon actually gives students 6 months free of Amazon Prime, and you can order everything there and then get it within 2 days, right? So that is a great way to look for textbooks. Another thing is rent if possible. You don't have to buy your textbooks. You can rent them and then just return them at the end. And if you rent them, sometimes they can be as low as like $10 to rent them for the semester, or $30 for a science textbook. It is just extremely cheaper to do that instead of spending $600 a semester for textbooks that you might read that one time and never read again, right? So then the Maverick store is in the University Center at CMU. And the pro or the advantage that you do by going to the bookstore is that you can charge it to your account. So then you add it to your big price tag, and then you can separate it by monthly payments when you go to ePay and select that. And then you are just making monthly payments for your college education. So that is something you can do. I know that Textbook Brokers actually does like this get now, pay later program. So you get your textbooks now, and then you can set a date for when your card is charged, just in case you're waiting for some scholarship money or for your parents to give you money for your textbooks, but you need your textbook now. That is a great way to do it. Textbook Brokers actually does a tax-free program. So it is, I think, a week or 2 weeks before classes start in the fall, they will have this like tax-free weekend. And that is a weekend where you can go get your textbooks and they won't charge you any taxes, and you can save some money there. Just look for ways to save money when it comes to textbooks, because it's something that you might just need for that semester. And it is very important for you to have, but you don't want to be spending hundreds of dollars. You don't need to be spending hundreds of dollars. Or you could be using that money for a new computer that could help you be more successful in college, right? So that is all up to you, but these are just big pointers that I chose to follow, or that my friends told me to be successful when buying textbooks. And so with the textbook subject ending, that was pretty much the biggest part of the video, right? So now just a brief summary about what we covered in this video is the biggest thing is know yourself. Are you looking to spend money? Are you not? Are you a morning person or not? This is the part in your life where you are starting to take care of things by yourself. So you cannot rely on other people to do it for you. And in order to do so successfully, you have to know yourself. What are your limitations? What are you good at? Stuff like that. Look at resources at your school. Don't overlook them, especially the library. That is like one of the biggest resources at CMU or maybe at any school. Make sure to accept your financial aid. You don't want to be that student that was supposed to get all their college paid for, but forgot to accept their financial aid, and you end up having to pay for it yourself. If you still need to set up a payment plan or do something like that, make sure to do it before the final date so you can set up your payment plan and avoid any late fees. Make sure to have your balance paid off by a certain date. CMU will release that date and they will let you know, just so you don't get dropped from the next semester's classes, because that's something you don't want. If someone else is paying for your college, make sure to give them access on ePay, right? So remember ePay. Apply for housing if you're planning on staying on campus, or apply for exemption if you are staying with your parents or somewhere off campus. And again, for textbooks, just look around for textbooks. Don't settle for this first thing you see. People will try to get you to go to the school's bookstore. That sometimes ends up being the most expensive option, but just because it's there, it's just like the easiest, but it's not necessarily the cheapest. And if you're looking to save money, look somewhere else. And then once again, if you need any help with your first year of college, if you need any help with anything that was covered in this video, you can either go talk to Iris at CMU, or you can contact Rec, and Rec will find someone to help you, or Rec will help you. If you need any help with anything for CMU, you can just call Rec and then have them contact me, and then, or you can contact me, ask Rec for my contact info, and then I can help you with any of this. Just getting through your first year of college. If you need any help, if you need any ideas for note taking or anything like that, just let Rec know, let me know, and we will help you, or find someone that can help you better than we can.